Right, you have to heal Bavino. He's got shit on him, and every time you try to rehabilitate him, he's just, it's like, right, it's just, there's this stink emanating on his videos and stuff and the photos. So you have to heal him, right? But also, you should have figured out how to put other people, other leaders in there. Again, what the president wants isn't always what's technically and strategically preferred, sound, or really successful. This isn't Hollywood, and he's trying to make it Hollywood. It's just unfortunate, and I need to tell you, or you're never going to fix it. Right. Well, you should have, you were doing it at first. You do Bavino, then you go to something else. You did too much Bavino, so they can see him. He's in the forefront of the mind. So the idea was, Homan's gone. he's hiding somewhere because he knows it's affecting him, right? But it's nothing wrong with that. You have to. The problem is people worship money today more than they ever did, and believe me, they got tons of money. Now you got the federal budget, so I'm not sure. It might be. I'm not sure how that one works, because usually the federal budget used to work as the wealth of people in government, and that's how you used to be able to stop that stuff. Right. But again, it could be billionaires somewhere, right, secreted, being part of this thing. Right. And Elon, he gets taxed. I mean, that's the weird part. Like, Bavino's a federal employee. You all attack federal employees. Looks like it's a little loud there. Trump attacked federal employees. Alina Habba attacked. Bove attacked federal employees. I mean, he should try to rehabilitate you if he knows if they know what they're doing. Right. Well, he's got to talk you up. Right. That was probably the stupidest thing you all did. and I did explain it to you, and I did lessen a little bit, at least in public. Because these are the same people that you're asking to do your missions, your immigration missions. And you're running them into the ground. Right. So I don't know. You just fired someone else. Like that's the answer to everything. I agree. I got to use my new cutting board. Let me go make sure this wax and oil are dry. No, there's a lot of metaphysicals floating around him. I don't know. Maybe the judge taking him down has something to do with it. I don't know. Completely right. As far as what most likely the higher courts will rule. Right. But you're being blocked from the answer. I mean, if you can't see it, it's pretty cool to do what I just said. Right. It'll have even a better effect. I didn't see it until after she ruled, and somehow I got tasked with figuring it out inside. Right. So to meet the court order, all you have to do is tell them. Is to warn them. So again, if you do something like get these big green and or camouflage, whatever you're wearing, match it. Be like Christy Noem. you have several color bullhorns to match your have blue ones, have green ones, have camo ones. But again, once you get into that rigmarole, it's going to be well, right, and pretty cool, because you're going to do what you see the cops do in the videos of them. Right, it's been declared an unlawful assembly. they're gonna hate Pavino even more when he gets on the bullhorns. I know he had a bullhorn before, but we weren't doing it this way. We do it this way. Right? You should be covered, because what you're going to say is, what I would say is, I would take that an extra statement, say this is declared an illegal assembly. Please disperse, or what do they call it? Unlawful assembly, I guess. Right, and then say there, you need to disperse. There, there's going to be, from this point forward, there is possible use of whatever you want to say, less than lethal devices or munitions, such as tear gas and pepper balls, or whatever it is you want to say in reference to that. I would spell it out. And then I don't think you have to say it again. Right? Because I was thinking the judge was requiring you to say, preparing my grenade, tossing my grenade. I thought she was doing something like that. But I guess it's along these lines, where she's expecting you to do what the other police officers do. Right. And again, I think it's more of a courtesy than required by the Constitution. Right. Right. Well, she's definitely not friendly, so she looks like she went over. But again, as far as saying activist judges, you got there are some who will say that Judge Cannon was an activist judge. There are people that will say Judge Cannon. So again, you have judges that lean left, you have judges that lean right, you have judges that go both ways. Oops. All right, but it's reality. So again, I don't understand that battle. It's not because you're not politically. You can't politically go against the judge. If you want your hit people in the House and Senate to mess with the judge, they'll do it. But there's no need to run some political campaign against the judge. It doesn't make any sense. Right. That's why that shows you why they're in there for life. Right. Right. So you don't have to worry about a political campaign. Thank you, Larry. So it just, because a judge can scumbag all your cases, it might be I'm not sitting there watching your assault case or anything like that. But the judge may have scumbag it. Well, for lack of a better term, you really do want to kiss the judge's ass. You get more whatever with sugar instead of whatever it is, whatever that statement is. Right. What doesn't make any sense? Either say nothing, or we believe the judge is wrong, got this wrong, and we're going to appeal it. It's that simple. Well, you're asking them to prosecute James Comey, the judges, and you've been bad, and you're still bad. You bad-mouthed judges the other day. Today too. The activist judge. It's just kind of stupid. Really, you don't need to be professional. Say the judge got it wrong. We believe the judge got it wrong. Right. Again, that will probably work better than what you're doing. Because there are neutral judges that, we think, okay, they think the judge got it wrong. But when you start saying, this judge, shouldn't be a judge because they didn't agree with me this go around, but agree with me the 3 other times. Right. You were shooting down judges that Bossberg actually sided with you once upon a time, if I remember correctly. But that's what what's his name? Judge Roberts. That's what he's trying to tell you. The system's built so you can appeal it. Yeah, judges do get it wrong, or sometimes get it right when it's left wrong. If you ask some people, some of the decisions of the courts and the Supreme Courts have been wrong. Both ways, left and right. Right. Thanks, Larry. Well, it's kind of childish, really. I mean, the other side's laughing. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. And they're going, meanwhile, you're going, you son of a. Yeah, go ahead, piss the judge off. Watch us win. Thanks, Larry. Well, they just start saying stuff like the judge got it wrong. There's things where you said the judge was an activist judge and should be impeached or something like that, and it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court confirmed it. Now, if you remember, I was complaining about disinformation. Tomato sandwich. In some cases, I said it could be illegal. Depending as whether it was fraud or not. Right. That's part of what's killing us. Disinformation. They're winning with goose gander. It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Right? I think some of the fundraising is fraud. Political fundraising. Right. Again, good luck winning that battle, but you know, telling people a bunch of fibs and they send you money. Right. Both sides of the party, or both parties. Right. The answer to socialism is actually the sovereign fund and allowing government to invest wherever it wants to. Well, the president can't direct the money. I know Trump isn't going to create it because he hates the independent parts of government. But something like the National Reserve, but a separate board. Right. Again, as conservatives, if it's not going to cost anything, I think I'm hearing from Elon or something that says it's Elon. Are you speaking to your satellite phones? Direct energy. If you haven't got like a device up in where he lives, where he sleeps, it's on his phone, it's on his mobile. He talks through the satellite to people. Neil Young, he's not conservative and you all hate him, but he, I think it was David Crosby was with him. I can't remember. But Neil, I think, eventually fell out the window of his barn. What he was doing, his barn was one speaker, I think, and his house was the other speaker. He was cranking up music. And whoever it was helping him, like, which side is louder? Do I need to turn the right side up or the left side? Like the house or the barn. But at one point, he was trying to adjust the music and he fell out a window, and then that ended that whole thing. It was like backing up or something out the window. In the barn, I think it was. So again, well, what came in is that may be the answer to AI and robots, that people won't have to work. Right. Well, he may have heard me in his head, and I just heard him in his head, or in my head. Thank you, Larry. So if you can, again, if we started investing when FDR came up with Social Security, people wouldn't have to work today. You'd be born like a Saudi royal family member, right? Agreed. Thanks, Larry. Oh my God. Or we, obviously we're still going to need medical people and stuff like that. So once the sovereign fund reaches that size, everybody gets health care, so you're going to need more doctors, right? Remember, there's people that hate, and they don't want their enemy, their perceived enemy, to go to doctors or even have a healthy life and all that. So again, we're going to have to come through a lot of metaphysics. I've got insurance, but boy, they kill me, and I can't get anywhere medically, right? And the channel stop me and say, if you go forward in that direction, it's going to take away from over here. Just like when I had that big medical issue, because for some reason, I went in the wrong direction or something like that. Right. And again, sometimes it can't be helped because, evil takes over to a larger degree. Right. There's a lot of aspects to that, including the specific community that a person's living in. Thank you, Larry. Now, the president can't. I mean, it's too corrupt. The courts probably wouldn't. As soon as somebody challenged it, they'd say, nah. If you want to have a separate board like every other part of government. Right. It is actually a form of socialism, but again, our government was never against socialism per se. It's against corrupt forms of socialism, right? Right. The Soviet Union was not socialism. It's the same thing Putin's running right now, actually, just a little different. He's not running a democracy. We all know that. He isn't even running a republic. He's running a feudalistic society. Correct. Agreed. Gotta wonder if he was reincarnated and he was like one of these people in history that lost land to, like the Poles or something. At a certain point, the Polish took over most of Europe, I think. Maybe even Eurasia. And Russia diminished. And so did the Kievians. All right. I might be having a flashback from a previous life. That could be where it all comes from. Right. He seems to only remember that part of the map. Russia owned all of it. Right. So Russia actually was the first democracy, so he kind of fails on that one. Right. No, in Russia you represent Putin or you don't represent anybody. Right. No other type of government. Or at least first, you know. Right. They still have, I think, like knights and kings and all that crazy stuff. But they had royalty. But royalty was tasked officially with representing people. They were elected, but as royalty, they had an obligation to their people. So I think that was the first democracy. Or I wouldn't say democracy, but it's representative government. Right. Which may have been what gave them success. The fact that the people felt that they were part of government in some way. Oh, that was delicious. I had like 2.5 sandwiches. This is pretty good bread. Yep. Low sodium. I think it's like 0 sodium, actually. It's weird. It says low sodium, but if you look on the label, it says 0 grams of sodium. It's really low sodium, but it's delicious. Has all the whole graininess to it and all that. You know, it's like 7 grain or something. Sprouted grain bread. Original logolemic, flourless, sprouted grain bread. Wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. Ezekiel 4:9. Take also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and spelt, and put them in one vessel and make bread of it. Ezekiel 4:9. Most expensive bread I've ever purchased, but there's nothing else really worth it. I mean, you do have a couple of wraps at Eagle that are low sodium, but wow, it was delicious. Oh my God, it was delicious. Almost out of coffee, but I decided not to go buy some tonight. I got to find my coffee maker, my Chemex drip coffee maker. Sweary Wine Mom is Dem answer to Rogan. She's from Oklahoma and she's a lefty. Right. Actually, I didn't get what you were doing when you took office. It didn't make any sense. Still doesn't make sense. Thank you, Larry. Well, because you won a certain way. Then you acted like it didn't matter. Like we're in too bad. I mean, there's no reason to speak about, speak bad things of government employees that you're firing, right, or laying off. You don't say anything. You just do it. Right. I mean, you should do it lawfully and justly. I think firing people because they were on certain assignments is bullshit. Even the guy with the pride flag, they may find that at the time that he worked for the government, that was kind of a way to earn points. I mean, even if he just says something like that, the court may accept it and go, yeah, right. It's the same government. Correct. Well, I don't believe that you're gonna get by on those. Right. And you can argue, well, it's not that he's gay; it's just he had the pride flag, and that's a bad But they were flying him on government buildings, right? I'm trying to tell you, Biden is in a different government. When he sues, he's not suing. He'll sue Donald Trump because and Kash Patel and all that, but he's suing the U.S. government. Thanks, Larry. All I gotta say is I had to be drugged. Right. And again, it's not a hard thing. You're wiping on things and you touch it, and that's it. Over time, if they repeatedly do that to where you live, it's going to be pretty thick. Right? Why would they do that? For money. People don't give a shit. If you're out here, you just start up a conversation about something like that, and people go, "Yeah, people do all sorts of shit for money." They don't sit there and go, "Nah, people would do that." Right. Oh, go to hell, man. There's no way. We'll go to church and it don't work like that. Paul tried to tell you all that. Right. Yeah, Samsung's going to come up with a credit card possibly. Arctic freeze. So what I wanted to say is that I forgot what I was going to say there. Let me think here. Yeah, yes, it's gone. They got it. Let me open this up and see. Maybe it was something on Drudge Report that I was talking about. The social media. Does Denmark have? Okay, so the uh, the issue about the employment issue, there are standards to fire an FBI agent. You may see that you have met that requirement, but if there's a pattern of practice of retaliation, it could get overturned. In other words, when they go to court initially, the case isn't what it becomes. And I don't know if it was with presidents, without presidents, and how anything's going. So, right. So I'm not sure how that works, but the thing is, and I think Newsom and all of them know what they're doing. They're just doing what Trump did. That's all they're doing. Because once you get it, oh yeah, that's it. That's what I want to talk about. The president always owns the shutdown in the public's mind. I don't care what the polls say or anything like that. Yeah, make sure you're getting honest polls. I think some of the pollsters work double agents. Right. You never should have done it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You should do whatever you could to avoid a shutdown. Because now there's people out there. Yeah, it was related to something on George also, but I was thinking about the story I was speaking about earlier. People are giving them sandwiches for $1. They cost usually $10. Right. Well, but these people are now going to be the heroes, not you for shutting down the government. Let's say no snap. The worst case scenario happened. The judge says, no, you can't do that. So now, even if you feed people, you get no credit. Right. Just think you said, well, I'm going to make sure people eat. I would say President Trump in the first 2 years of his first administration would make sure the people eat. Right. I'm telling you got double agents or something. There's none of what you're doing is making any sense. Right. I mean, one thing you're not speaking about anymore, and you're allowed to do it. I mean, because everybody does something like that. But I think part of your drive is political. You saw the immigrants were adding to the voter rolls of the of the Liberal Party. Once upon a time, that didn't happen. So it should have been a wake up call instead of a, well, of course you do need to deport. My point of view is I've lived in those communities and they're absolutely corrupt. Now there's other communities that are corrupt too, but a lot of money for corruption. Cartels can pay money in this country and get a PI running around going after some victim for the cartel. Right. Thanks.
something. Yeah, you're do something. Like a girl. Do something. Like I said, do something. Nigger. Do something. Nigger. Do something. That's what I'm You talking all that shit. You came over here for what? All you had to do was say, excuse me, sir. You jumped out your fucking truck. I didn't get out my truck. You just shut the fuck man, up. Man, go to work, man. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. Fucking pussy. Yeah, fucking girl. Get out of your truck and say something. You really got problems at the crib, huh? I got problems. You got problems. You got a lot of problems. I live on the golf course. What that mean? I don't live in the hood, brother. I don't live in the hood neither. Hey, get out your truck and sit there. Hey, bro, go ahead, man. I got bigger things to lose. To fight you, you're a fucking bum.
What was he mad at?
Yeah, okay.
Just feels like a Jewish community too. Right. That's crazy. Great. He might not be working on the golf course anymore, or living on the golf course if he does. It's crazy. They reinvestigate it from the state. Well, remember, you can't just to say this. It says Indian IDOT employee stopped by ICE agents, questioned if he was aware of New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. That doesn't make any sense. Right. Well, the thing is, you can't pull somebody over for simply being a certain race now, or a certain nationality, or whatever, what you believe they are. There has to be additional indicators, and that's only, reasonable suspicion, right? You have to be careful. It looks like that might be something that they're not doing, right? So it's not. Again, I don't know if you're recording this or not. Like you're actually, it's on the cameras, I guess. Okay, so she's ordered you to keep your cameras on. So I would suggest that you're thinking of pulling someone over, articulate. Again, this becomes uh, in camera view. I don't think the judge is allowed to take all your video and just put it in the court. I think some of it is going to rise to the level of being operational secrecy. But I would say, the driver is obviously Latino. The driver is driving a vehicle that is associated with this type of activity, and that type of activity is associated with um, unlawful immigration, and whatever it is you want to say on that, something like that. And they're in this area, and this area is known to so the judicial, adjudicator. So I think that judge may have overstepped the bounds a bit. In fact, I don't. I think the That's one of the last times I got pulled over, I think. Hopefully you're. Oh wait, did it close down? Looks like I may have lost you. Or are you still here? Yeah, you're still here, I guess. I don't know what was getting out here. Hopefully the receiver was receiving it. Think about it. I have to go look to see if you heard what I said. But you should do the megaphone thing and make it clean. On the video, if you're pulling somebody over for several indicators or a couple indicators, mention that. If I don't know if she can require you to do all that. Because again, it's one of the, I don't know if it was her or one of the other judges was supposedly overstepping their bounds. They were becoming like the defense attorney instead of the adjudicator. Right. Or the plaintiff's attorney. Right. So on your camera, when you're driving, you put the. I mean, it's a good tool to CYA. And if you don't have a couple of indicators, then you probably have to let it go. You can't pull somebody over just because they're a different not other than white. Right. So I know there's a lot of different indicators, even the communities that they happen to be driving in. Look, at some communities are like 75% immigrants, and of those 75% immigrants, 50 to 75% are not here legally, or are here based upon an amnesty application and or an expired amnesty application, et cetera, so on. Right. The further we get into the Trump administration, the more likely somebody's going to have an expired process, some sort of process that got allowed them to stay here. Because Trump's not approving anything. So what I'm saying also is, in front of the court, they're going to seem like certain types of people, and it's just a lot of times it's an illusion. Right. They're not a criminal yet because nobody offered them the money. That's true for some people, right? Not just immigrants, but the idea is, if we already have a certain percentage of Americans are that way, we don't need to be importing people that don't support the system, the well system, to keep people well, to be well, right? Especially if they just walk across the border and say, "I'm here, I'm home," right? Thank you, Mary. Now, if we started investing money 10 years ago, even just 10 years ago, government money, it'd be a whole different world, right? Your sovereign fund distribution check, right? I mean, that could be pretty cool. We like the royal family. You're born in the United States, U.S. citizen, you get a sovereign cut of the sovereign fund. We like royalty. But you'd have to be able to invest it. Right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with investing. Because it's like being progressive. Like George Washington would approve of it. They would all the founding fathers would approve. If we could figure something out like that. Right. I agree. you have to just make sure the corruption doesn't exist. And of course, there's going to be some sort of corruption. Somebody's going to invest in something for a buddy or something like that. But again, that's the world we live in. The United States is so big. Again, the idea of corruption in elections, I know based upon having been in law enforcement and corrections, and just all the research I've done over the years, psychology on people's psychology, people's sexuality, people's corruptness, and all that. That investigation, a personal investigation on what's going on around me in life, that kind of thing. I know that's going to happen. Right. And I know in elections that there's corrupt elections. The only real question at that level of an exercise of any type of election or anything of government or anything even in the private sector, how much did that corruption influence the election? It probably didn't change it. Right. In fact, the only election I've ever seen that I think could have changed it was the Hillary Clinton Trump one. Not to say it did, but right. That was a close election. Correct. No, it's not hard to figure out what Trump does. He knows he needs the electoral college, and he goes and he starts hiring bosses in those locations. Right. Great. I mean, it's his strategy, and it worked twice. Right. Well, it's just like when he took office, like when Donnie's taking, or Donnie, whatever his name is, just don't be a jerk, and do what's best for everyone. Don't just, if you get stuck on political rhetoric, then you're not going to get anywhere. Socialism doesn't work without capitalism to a certain degree. And if the markets and the crypto and all that is the answer to universal health care and feeding people and all those things, then it's legitimate. So then what does that tell you? That means you got to figure out how to work the capitalistic side of it too, how to keep that going, right? No, we've always been a different, differing levels of combination of democracy, republic, and social. We've always been a social government, right? You just don't figure it out because you don't realize what came before that, right? Watch Mel Brooks. Watch History of the World for Mel Brooks. Right. Now, the sovereign fund's not a bad idea, but again, it could be used corruptly. But the idea is we need to get some wealth into the United States governments and capital, so we don't, we got to tax you. If we invested that money for a good 20 years, I don't think you'd be paying much tax, if any. Right? We went through a lot of surges and tech surges and crypto surges, and right. Agreed. But then, once you put that kind of money into the market, I don't think, the different markets and stuff, I don't think they can fail. That's the other part. Right. See, I don't think Trump's totally against socialism like that, as long as you come up with a business plan that works for everybody. Right. See, again, that's why you're supposed to be bipartisan, because then you get stuff like that going. Well, you want us to feed the people, and you let us invest this money. Right. You want universal health care, then we got to invest money and build up capital in that program, and then as we build capital, we'll bring additional people on, which I told you to do 10, 20 years ago, something like that. I think it's probably 15 years ago at this point. Right. But you increase it in increments, right? You bring it on in increments. No, I mean, again, you credit Trump with the idea of actually going forth and creating a sovereign fund. That's the answer. It's actually socialism, but who gives a shit? It's just political bullshit the way you act about the different political systems. We've always moved different political systems in different places based upon a progressive need, is what George Washington would say. Right? We're being communist before. When we go to war, we're communist. Right. World War II, we were communist, I think. But again, it's a reactive activity based upon what we believe the needs were. Korea, South Korea for a while was it's like a communist country. But then we got it back up and we moved away from that. Again, we've had spy-run countries. We've run spies have run countries as socialist, government, because there's no other way to get it back up again, right? And that's that naturally happens in elections here. They're voting a socialist thing because they don't got money. They figure, if I need, I want a socialist then, right? You promised them a capitalistic life that pays them, and you're saying still in a few years you can pull it off. Again, if you can't pull it off unless you can pull it off. In other words, if you're not going to be empowered to pull it off, then it's a waste. And the only way so again, the problem is the amount of time that it's your second term. So your first term was kind of wasted with COVID, but you were starting to go into that gang warfare and stuff anyway. So that's all loser shit, right? That's just going to eat up your power. Because you have to pay. See, you have the wealth and you have the power to do something corrupt like gang warfare, but it's going to destroy your luck and your ability to actually function. And it did. You know what happened? Trump was thrown out of office because people hated him at that point. And again, part of it was COVID. Oh, isn't this horrible what Trump did with COVID? The same thing they did to Biden the next time around. Right. But Trump became that person they threw out of office like on January 20th. I don't understand it. Because he had a change to get elected. He moved towards the center. Right. And he embraced certain things. And then like the day he got elected, he just went back to being that guy. So, I think they just picked up where they left off. So again, you should have tried something bipartisan. Right. Again, you could be impeached. He could be impeached. Right. Where it's going now. The victory was that you got elected again. Then you go right back to governing. That's all. You don't have to prove anything. Right. At this point, I don't know. Again, they're already calling you a lame duck. I don't know if it's that bad, but right. Which means you're not going to get your program on to fruition. Right? But again, I think there is a certain level of confidence that there could be the economy could turn around within 2 more years, right? Or about 2 more years, like big. Right? But again, the idea is if you placate the Democrats a little bit, you'll get it. They'll give you some way to play that thing out, right? I don't understand where this idea came from, where you don't give the other side anything. The way the government used to run the best is you just give they get to take stuff back to their constituents and you get to take stuff back to your constituents. Again, this idea, I think it came from the foreign governments. Oh, that's selling out your voters. Your voters are idiots. Your voters are loomer. Right. You think you lost the Arabic vote. Right. That's one of the votes that got you in. You wouldn't have, without the Arabic vote, you never would have took Michigan. Right. But he's not, Mandani, whatever it is. He's not all Arabic. He's also half Indian. His mother was a Hindu, I think. At least she looks like a Hindu. She secretly wanted to marry me. That's what she told me today in the mine. No, what I was trying to do is figure out if I may have healed this guy when he was younger. I healed a lot of Arabic people and a lot of people from India in New York. I don't know if he lived in New York or not. A lot of people I heal, I mean, we won't know till I leave the, till we get to the afterlife. But a lot of people I became doctors and scientists. Well, Hashem said, if we don't heal the people, the Islamic people and the people that look Islamic, Sikhs and Hindus, there's going to be a tremendous amount of terrorism because all these people you work with, they're cursing people to be terrorists. And it's eating away at their ability to abstain from terrorism. And again, it's more than just the people I work with. Right. So, they would shoot them and stuff, but inside, they were willing them to act out in terrorism using, witchcraft, really. Thank you, Larry. And of course, they were also using spike. So James said we had to heal New York and New Jersey, and that was the original focus. And the Delta Valley. So I healed a lot of people, and it's a pretty big, especially back then. It was a huge heal. I was up pretty good. No, if I went into like a Hindu community, I play Hindu music. I go into a Sikh community, play Sikh music. Go into Islamic community, play Arabic music. They saw me. Right. I remember this woman in a hijab, the whole outfit, and she just looked at me. But yeah, she had her face uncovered, but she wore everything else. And she's like, you see somebody. And she was like about a half a block away. I think I was sitting in my Amigo eating dates that I bought from the Arabic store. Medijul dates. I looked through my window and I'm looking and she's looking at me. I don't know what she saw. She's definitely a seer. I was taking a break, eating something, and then I go off and heal people some more. Well, those wicks didn't work. They're like a thicker wick, but it just doesn't. It wasn't transferring the oil right. It's kind of weird. Is this broken up or something? So I had to go back. Macrame core makes the best. The best wicks, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't use everything I've purchased that were intended for wicks just wasn't the best. Macrame cord, cotton macrame cord, like the 4 millimeter, and then sometimes I double up the 4 millimeter. Of course, that makes it so cheap. You just cut your own, and you can cut extra long ones, so you don't have to change the wicks as much. I got some oil on my desk here. I got to work through these. I'm thinking Hashem might want me to paint these. I love this color. And it even looks better when it's covered with oil. So I don't know. Or like, just the oil sheen. Can't believe those broke while I was driving, but boy, they were all cursed. So when you move, your power drops. That's why it's like hell. So all the curses that were pre-existing, they increase in power. This is what happens in people's lives. We die from being cursed, actually, from being hated and cursed, from all the haters and all the curses. That's how we die. Otherwise, the technology probably has figured out. I was actually working on how to make people live forever. I really was. Like, I was working through the problem. Could we live forever? Hashem says yes. But I mean, you wouldn't live here. I mean, it's kind of like, it's just a waste. Being here is actually a waste at this point. I mean, there may have been times on this planet where it was worthwhile, but it's not now. So I'm sure Hashem will figure out how to destroy it no matter what Elon does to save it. Maybe that's his whole thing. Yeah, make me Elon. Go ahead, make Elon a triple trillionaire. Hashem will still take the planet out. No, I apparently made a lot of the right choices in my mind. You know what I mean? Because that's where God is. You can't lie to God, really. What you're doing is you're lying to the system, all of you. Right. And the system goes along with it. Why? Because you have power in the system, because maybe you have money or something like that. Right. Well, the system is a liar, or, is essentially a liar at this point. Right. Well, I told you that, if you don't get rid of the deep state and do all the right things, Hashem was going to plague your presidencies. And this is about the quickest I've ever seen it. Right. Now, I don't know what you're doing, what you're not doing. I can't tell you that. And I hope the officers are all doing what they're supposed to, as far as not just, you're a person of color. You're a person of color and A, B, and C, or A and B at least. Right. Or of foreign appearance, should I say. It wouldn't be color. Well, that's one of those things where the average white person is fine unless what? Unless they're in a community where white immigrants live. Then there's some indicators there that the Border Patrol and the ICE know about. Right. Don't tell me you didn't hear me. Testing 1 2 3 testing. Testing 1 2 3 testing. Don't tell me you didn't hear me. It's just outside of range. I got a lot I got to re-say. Testing 1 2 3 testing. Oh, that was a lot of information wasted. All right. I'll have to repeat it tomorrow. There's a lot of good information there. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all to do. Praise God.